name's Joe J. Thomas, and I started voice acting way back in the 80s, did it for a very short period of time, and then picked it up again somewhere around ooh, 2006, I think, and was in LA at the time, and do games, animation, dubbing for live action movies and for anime. And if you've played a video game, you probably killed me. Well, when I first started, we had a house with a pretty quiet room. So I treated the room, a car drove by or a truck drove by. Then we moved to a smaller space, a loft. And fortunately, we had a walk-in closet that we had treated, and that did better, but it wasn't perfect. I couldn't have, for example, the water heater couldn't be running because it was next to the closet, or the washing machine problems, and I had to work around them instead. So we actually decided to move from LA to Barcelona, and that's when I ended up getting the studio bricks. I talked to several audio engineers, and they all said, if you're going to go with the booth, uh, you can afford it, Joe. So just go for the top of the line. So initially, I looked at just the Studio Bricks One, which is the smaller model, and I said, okay, I do video games, I do animation. There's a lot of movement with my hands, so I went for the One Plus, and then I talked to Guillermo at Studio Bricks, and he gave me the options, and I said, oh, you've got a VO edition with all this stuff. And I said, okay, that's exactly what I need. So let's just go with that. And well, I've got you on the copy arm right now, which is on a tablet. And then I've got the mic, and behind me is a bass trap. So it had everything I was looking for. Well, initially when we were thinking of moving to the smaller space, the loft, and I also contacted several independent contractors who could build booths by hand. I looked at some of the other pre-made ones, and they just didn't seem to meet the specification. But then they were a lot heavier and harder to take apart, harder to put back together. And since I was considering moving, and Studio Bricks is in Barcelona, which is where I'm at now, that seemed like a more natural way to go. It was the home built ones, the engineer built ones were a little cheaper, but that's because they were basically using soundproofing material and plywood and to build the whole thing. It wasn't quite as interesting or soundproof as I needed. I was fortunate enough that since I'm in Barcelona, the guys came out and put it together for me. So I didn't have to do it myself, but I did get to watch. And it was a lot like watching Legos go together. It was really surprising how easily all the pieces fit together. And the door was probably the biggest thing that they had to bring up. We're on the technically the third floor. If you're in the United States, it's floor 2, and it encouraged me because I could see that in the future, if we decide to move to somewhere else, it would be easy to disassemble, even if I didn't do it. Easy for someone to disassemble and move in pieces. I mean, Guillermo showed up outside, just had his car with a small trailer, and everything fit in there, and I went, that's perfect. I think, like I said, I had looked at home built options, and or at least I think there's a qualitative difference. I think Studio Bricks represents a premium product. You do get what you pay for. At some level, you look at it and you say, okay, I can't afford it, or I can't afford it, but I don't want to, or I'm going to go a little cheap. And my wife and I went back and forth on this, and when we had bought the place that we're in Barcelona, I told her, don't hold back, get what you want, because otherwise it's going to bother you. And I gave myself the same advice. I'm going to use this every day. I work in this. I'm in here for hours. If it's something that's going to bother me, it's going to bother me every day. So I wanted something that would support my career in the future, and this is it. I normally can't share anything that I'm doing because everything's secret, by the way. You can go to joeactor.com if you want to know more about me. And but I will tell you that one of the funniest jobs I had as a voice actor is I won a yodeling contest on the internet. And the pay for the yodeling contest was 100 rubber chickens. And the yodel is in a pickle about this big. And you press a button on the pickle and the pickle yodels. So I am the voice of a yodeling pickle. And it's been everywhere. It's been on Good Morning America. Weird Al has posted pictures of himself with it. It's insane what that one bizarre job has led to. It's also left rubber chickens all over Los Angeles. The company's been great. I mean, the guys who came out and built it, Guillermo dropping them off, and all the correspondence back and forth. Even when I had like a small issue with the mic arm, he put me in contact directly with the manufacturer of it, and they sorted it out. So I have zero complaints at this point.